Yo, we talking about groceries on FBA. Yo, easy. Yeah. J to the O, the Mayos. Groceries on FBA. What you know about that? Step your game up, suck it.
Hey everybody, welcome. This is our, I guess, monthly live Q&A for the Groceries on FBA group. And, you know, I like to do these from time to time to, you know, help people answer questions that, you know, they may not know about. And of course, you know, I want to talk about the new Scanpower changing their pricing. So now there's a completely free version, you know. Like I was saying before we started, everybody, I really think it's something that, you know, everybody should use. I mean, there's, you know, a lot of paid scouters out there that aren't as good. So why waste money when, you know, you can be using something better that's free and being updated and, you know, actually looks nice. You know, and there's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of options out there. So, you know, like I always say, try everything out. You know, of course, I've always used Scanpower. I've used this since August 2012, but you know, on the other hand, I've tried everything else out there, and I really think some of the listing things that you can do with Scanpower, you know, the competition doesn't do. You know, it prints on every label where it's going. So, you know, you've seen in my other videos, I can pack everything up into one box or however many boxes. But when I fill a box, I feel it. You know, I write the warehouse it's going to and the weight, and it's never changed. You know, and with things like Inventory Lab, we were helping clients. We'd be listing stuff for them. You know, we used Inventory Lab ourselves, and it was a nightmare because when you completed it, it often would change where they're going. If you use the private or, you know, the regular way of listing, it did the same thing. And of course, it doesn't say what warehouse they're going to. You know, that has saved us, you know, countless, at least probably hundreds of hours. Because what, you know, the way we do it is, you know, we sort everything out, put them on shelves. You know, we can take one. The way we actually do it is we use Post-it notes and we count how many of an item and just put a Post-it note on one of them. We can take that one item, list it, put the labels with the item and put it back, and either later or somebody else can put those labels on and put them in the box as they go in. When that box is full, we could seal the box up because Scanpower doesn't work the same way as other tools do. Every time you list an item, with other tools, it would put it in a batch, and when you complete it, it sends the batch in. What Scanpower, the way I understand it, is it's going to list it, and it sends that information to Amazon for every time. So it gets back what warehouse it goes to, and that's why it never changes. So we can, you know, fill 20 boxes, put them to the side, and then when they're done, you know, we just put the Amazon labels on it. We don't have to worry about waiting until we're done to load the boxes and all that other information. You know, so you know, it's really changed things a lot for us. Of course, all those kind of options weren't available, but you know, I didn't really want to talk about doing that exactly today. What I wanted to talk about was you know, answering your questions that you may have about grocery or Amazon, OA X-ray, whatever you might need. But you know, I really think everybody should, you know, subscribe to Scanpower, completely free now. Just go to scanpower.shawnmayo.com and you will you'll see it all. And let's see. So for Kelly's question, she wanted to know about you're already subscribed, so it's going to see whatever level you're at, and it's going to change it to the appropriate offering. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we're going to go through the Scanpower stuff quickly, and then we can get to any other questions you have. Okay. And if you have questions along the way, just go ahead and enter them into the Q&A, and we'll get to them in order. The chat does go by really quick, so sometimes it's a bit harder. Okay, I'm just having a problem loading. Let's try it one more time. Okay, so hopefully you see my screen. And actually, so here is the new sign up screen. And that would be Chris's. Okay, so here we are. So now there's a the main suite that really had everything in the past. If you're using it more, it's going to cost more. If you're using it less, it might cost you a little less. So the plan we were on was a suite that had everything except the inventory evaluation. And we don't use this for that. We use CyberMonkey deals because there's some other things that we use in that. It'll show everything on the screen. It looks a lot prettier, and you know, it's a lot easier for my employees to do things. So what we used was the suite, which was right in the middle here. It was $59. You got the unlimited scans, unlimited items to ship. It did not include any tracked ASINs, and Evaluate, of course, was free, as well as you know, the other tools, the reports, all the dashboard sales information, as well as the repricer, which we'll get into that, but it's actually not a you know, a repricer like we think of. It's a manual repricer. It basically shows you all the data, and you can reprice a whole page at a time. Makes things a lot easier than Amazon, but it's not something that's going to automatically reprice for you. You know, things like App Eagle or any of the rest. So, you know, I would hope that everybody would sign up for this free program. It's completely free. Unlimited scan, so you can install the mobile app. You can, of course, use the web-based app, which looks very similar to the mobile. And it's the Scout here, so you can scan barcodes. You can look up historical barcodes. You can look at anything you scan mobile, and it's going to come up on here as well. And you know, it gives you a lot of good data over using the Amazon Seller app or any of the other options out there. So, and I believe I asked Chris Green about it. I'm not sure because I don't use the free version. But I believe that the report and the repricer are also included. So, you know, the only reason you would ever need to pay for this is if you wanted to track ASINs, or if you wanted to do, if you wanted to list with it. Of course, I think it's, you know, the greatest tool out there for listing. One of the other good things that we use it for is under list. So these are some shipments that we have going on. And in list, you can complete each one of these shipments. So if you have you know, clothing or, you know, some strange shipment that you only sent 2 of, you don't have to complete that. You have 30 days from the last time you updated to actually complete the listing before they the shipment before they close it. So if you have a you don't want to send in 2 items all the time. So you just you don't have to complete that shipment. You can only complete the ones you want. And this is what we do. When we get a box full, then we'll complete that shipment, because we only usually do the shipping once a week. We'll list just about every day, but we only ship once a week. So, in reality, most people are only going to need the free version. And if you're only doing 50 shipments, then, or 50 items, and that's, different SKUs. So basically 50 different things. And I'm sure, a lot of people aren't even using that much, and then the levels go up from there. So if you're doing under 250, and that's a month, then you go to this level, and 250 to 500, you go here, and, it goes up from there. But it's basically based on how many items you're going to be using in list. So you can do unlimited scanning with it. And of course, the multiple scans, really don't matter if you have people working for you or scanning for you. They can all have their own account. It's completely free. So, the multiple devices, I don't think are really an impact. And of course, evaluate. It works the same way as the scan sheets from CyberMonkey Deal. If you've seen my videos on that, you can upload a whole spreadsheet, and it will evaluate it just like using your Scout on each item, but it gives you a lot more information than Scout actually does. So I'm going to go ahead, and I'm going to start with Scout. I'm going to stop the share, and I'm going to show you what it looks like on mobile. Pam said that Scanpower keeps crashing on her. Not sure how to fix that. Is that your mobile app, or is that I don't know, when you're listing? I'm not sure if it's mobile. Is it Android? We seem to have a lot more problems on our Android phones than we do on iOS as well. It looks like mirroring, and here we are again. Close out of that, share screen. Okay, so here we go. We're in the Scanpower mobile app, and go ahead and scan something here. So, we do use things like the KDC scanners, which are very cheap on eBay now. There's no reason why, if you're doing any kind of retail arbitrage, everybody should have a scanner now. I've seen them as low as $50. So I'm going to go ahead and scan. You can scan a barcode with it, hopefully. And it's going to give you all the options that come up for that UPC. So you can select whichever one you want, or you can cancel out of it and do it again. So here we are. It has your shipping weight. If Amazon was selling it, it would have their price here. The amount of offers, 1,200 offers for this one book. And the rank is 374,000. And it's in the book department. So these listings, this shows the book in new condition, which would be merchant fulfilled, and then collectible and FBA. Now, okay, so now if we turn it sideways, I guess for this, it will show your net payout. And it also, in parentheses, as you can see all the way across, it's showing, of course, new is only going to have new, but FBA has all the FBA. So new and used, as well as a collectible. I'm sure all these are not collectible conditions. And your net payouts is showing you the net payout based on whatever's in the parentheses. So if you can click on where it says buy here, and you can add it to your buy list, and then you can look it up online, download it, and then download the CSV and list it from there. Now, if you click on the lightning bolt, let me go back out of there. On this here, what's going to happen is it's a hot list, and you can actually add to this hot list in your settings. So this is going to take you to links for the Sell It Now, right, with Amazon, Google Lookup by UPC or title, eBay, Book Scouter, Book Finder, add all, and you can add other things to it as well. But you have to go in your settings and do that manually. Now, if you click on buy, it adds it to your buy list, and then it's going to show you everything you've bought in this scouting trip. It's going to average the rank, show what the low list price is and the total amount of bought. And then this is just to report if there's a problem, if it doesn't match, or if there's some other issue. And that's all there is to the web scouting. I mean, I can't tell you how much good this has done us. It also shows restricted items, or I'm sorry, it shows hazmat items, but of course nothing but the Amazon mobile app is going to show you if something is restricted. So if it's Disney or brand restricted, and there's a ton of brands that are brand restricted now. So that's the only way that you're ever going to be able to do it. So if there's ever a question, we always check it out in the Amazon mobile app. But it's just a terrible app for scouting. You can't use your scanner. I mean, you can use it, but you have to go back in, click like 3 buttons every time you want to scan something. So it's not it's not a good option for scanning on the go. All right, so it's crashing on your Android phone when scanning Android Galaxy Note 4 S4. You definitely can use it on the mini iPad. Until we got the new phones, which is, I have the new big. Whoops. Out of that now. We have the new big iPhone, I guess the 6S Plus. I mean, everybody in my family had one. My mother, my father, my wife, my daughter even has a mini. I had a mini, but I didn't use it in about a year. So I finally, I think we gave it away. But yeah, it'll work on any iOS device. On the phones, on the iPads, on the iPad Pro, on the iPad Mini, and it all runs the same software, so you can install all the same programs. It's just the reverse doesn't always work. Some things you can install on the phone that are made for the iPad, but any phone app will go onto the iPad. So we definitely would use that a lot. Actually, when I was doing the sourcing, I mean, it was great because it was one less thing to hold on to. So if you have a shopping cart in a store, we would put the iPad in the shopping cart. It was big enough to leave it and see it, that far away. And then, we used our scanners, the KDCs, the ScanFob, and we would scan the things that would come up, and we could just keep moving on. So if it was books, we could scan, just keep scanning books and looking at the screen. We didn't have to keep looking at a phone or picking it up or doing whatever, and it was great. And of course, that's going to work for any scanning app. No. Okay, so Kelly, okay, we answered that. Kelly would like to know if it takes into consideration shipping, which I've never used that option. I really don't like it, and I don't think that that you should be really doing that, because it really doesn't work out well. I'm sure at some point they might use it. I know the other apps have it. But I feel that some stuff I'm sending to Arizona or California. Some stuff, I live in Tampa, and we've got 2 warehouses in Tampa. Sometimes the stuff is going there and costing literally pennies a pound, 10 cents a pound sometimes. But it's all over the place. I mean, if it's not going to my state, it could be 20 cents, it could be 50 or 60 cents. So, I really don't worry about that. I mean, I think about it in my head, but, a lot of things I'm buying don't even weigh a pound. Some things weigh ounces. So, it's going to cost 5 cents for shipping. If it's 10 pounds, obviously, you're going to pay a few dollars extra for it. But, it's not accurate. It's never going to be accurate. Even in the Amazon seller app, they don't know what your shipping's going to be. They're just, calculating a formula based on, a cost that you're telling them. No, it doesn't support it right now. And if it did, I personally wouldn't be using it for my business. But I mean, if that's something you need, then I guess you deal with it however you need to. As far as the scanners, we use the, I started out with the scan fobs, but we use the KDC 200s. I don't think I had a couple on my desk, but I guess I don't now. It's a KDC 200. There's a few different versions. There's one for Android. There's a normal one. There's one for iOS, the KDC 200i. Don't worry about that stuff. Those are extra functions that they've developed apps for those devices, and we use our own app. So those are things for inventory tracking and things like that. So you can run a KDC 200i on an Android, and the reverse is true. It's made by Comatech, and I'll post a link to some here in just a moment. So I see there's a bunch on eBay starting at $40 on auction, and I'll post the link. They're actually $49 is the cheapest ones. Be aware, if it doesn't come with a cord, they have their own proprietary cord, and the only price I've ever seen them for is $10. They sell them for $10. They're on Amazon for $10. So if you don't get a cord, expect to be spending $10 on one. I'm going to post it in the chat. Yes, it's a KDC 200 is a series. Like I said, there's many different versions. Most of these I see here are the KDC 200i, but don't worry about that. Those are just extra functions that link to an app for inventory tracking, like I said. So, you can get any KDC 200 and it's going to work. Now, if you're running, an Apple product, if you're running an Android product, some of the older ones, you have to make sure that it's going to run. You have to make sure that it's going to run. So if you had to have Serial Magic Gears for another scanner, then you're still going to need it with Scanpower. But you can send me a PM later, and I'll be happy to help you, nail down your phone or anything else. Okay, so James wanted to know, he understands he can maintain a database in his mobile device and use it with the scanner as well. What do I know about this? If I understand this right, The question is basically you want to use a scanner and scan the data. I know Scanpower is beta testing a new tool for that. So, for example, you could go into a store and catalog all that information. Now, you can do it in Excel. You can do it in, you know, a notepad. You know, I'm sure there's other things for saving that data. The way these scanners work is it's like saving you time on your keyboard. It's actually typing that information in. So if you wanted to go to Google, right. So if you wanted to go to Google and search a UPC, you could use one of these scanners. You go into the browser, scan something, and it would come up there. So it's, you know, exactly the same as using a keyboard. You know, so don't think it's like its own standalone scanning software. It's just a way to get that that barcode number onto your computer. You know, and we do the same thing. So right now we're doing it kind of, you know, I'm sure the hard way. You know, I have college students who go into stores like Walmart and they scan everything on the whole aisle with Scanpower, and then they do a screenshot, and we upload those screenshots into Dropbox. So, you know, it would be nice if I could have them catalog that whole a whole aisle. And then later on, I could look that information up, and next month I could look that information up again and see what would be good. You know, what tools would be, what products might be worth buying, you know, next week or next month that aren't worth buying now. You know, but I don't know about any tools or apps that are, you know, that are made for doing that right now. You know, I'm sure there's a ton of inventory tracking tools, but you know, I don't know about them. Okay, so let's get back into okay, so you know, you just go to the link, you sign up, and that's it. So now with the Scout, you know, it works the same way. You're just going to be looking up, you know, and I've used this a ton. I've got one of those when the Google Chrome first came out. You know, Chris Green posted about it. You know, I immediately bought one. I thought it was great with the internet built in. You know, and I've bought some. You know, I bought 6,000 books, more than that, at a school that was going out of business. You know, every wall in every room, and they had storage rooms just full of books, and they'd been open for like 40 years. And it was a special needs school, and you know, we were able to go in there and scan every book. And you know, we closed down a video game store and did the same thing. We were able to sort the stuff out as we went there. And I used the Web Scout, you know, as well as we were using the mobile ones. We used the Web Scout and, you know, just scan like crazy with a real handheld barcode scanner like you're probably using for listing. So, you know, this is basically the same tool. You can add it to your buy list. There's also the tracking, which, as I showed you before, it tracks 5 items. It's called the Web Scout. So you can click on track here. And, okay. So, sorry, I had a microphone problem. So it will, make sure you close them. So ours actually hasn't changed over. So I don't think I can show you the tracking. If you had the free version, you can use it, but I don't actually have it on this account. We have, I've actually have 3 versions or 3 subscriptions to Scanpower because we sell in Canada and the US, and we have 2 US accounts. So, so here you can add to your buy list, and then The hot list is the same as the one we've seen on Amazon, and this will take you to all the different sites. Keep camel, camel, camel. So it takes you just to the ASIN, and then you can see the price history, right from there, which makes things very easy. And this is very simple and self-explanatory. If you want to enter, some different information, you can click on any of these boxes, and it's going to put it into your prices. So if you put your cost in here, it's going to, it's going to show you your net payout. So, you can change this around, to see, where you need to be, to make whatever it is that you need to make. And, there's not a lot to it. You can enter the UPC, ISBN numbers, or ASINs in here. That's about all there is to it. I mean, it's quick, it's fast, it's easy, and so now I'm going to show you how to do how we list products. So you can search products in your shipments, of course. And here's a shipment that we have going on. It has the average rank, average from everything in this shipment only. The total quantity. This is the selling price, and this would be the net payout. I'm going to go back and show you how we list. So you can list with, again, the ASIN, UPC, or ISBN number. This is where you can import a buy list, or, of course, import your spreadsheet, which would be from, if you click on mobile, these are the things that, that have been scanned. Now, we don't use these. We actually, do what most people think may be the hard way, which is listing, we'll scout it, and we don't add it to the buy list, which, may make it easier. But I like to be able to, when I'm listing something, I want to physically, hold it. I want to physically, inspect it and make sure that it matches. I don't want to just upload the buy list, click one button that prints out all the labels, and, I want to make sure everything's right and everything matches. So this is your whole list. You can download the whole thing. You can, as a CSV, or remove it. And so when we go into the list, all you do is you're going to scan your product with your barcode scanner, list it, or you can just hit enter, and you're going to get this pop-up. And it automatically creates an MSKU based on what you put in the settings, shows you the rank. You can select whatever condition you want. Now, understand, it doesn't know what conditions are allowed. This is giving you all the options. So if you're in toys, don't list something as used. It's the same thing as when you're doing it directly on Amazon. Wherever you're doing it, you have, if you send it in that way, it's just going to be, marked as, unfulfillable. You're going to have to fix it. It's going to be stranded. And then, of course, your quantity, if it's case packed, your purchase date, this is the price you want to sell it at. Now, if we leave this blank, it's going to show you, which I'll show you on the next page, it's going to show you all your competition. So I leave this blank, and then you can enter whatever your cost is for your reporting tracking. And so if it's $3, and then enter whatever source you have. So, if you bought it at Walmart, you just enter Walmart in there. And if it has expiration dates, you can just enter the expiration. You can type it in or select it off the calendar, and then to be notified however many days before expiration. And you'll get that in your notifications. and then just hit OK. And we get this screen. Now, I don't have a barcode scanner attached here, but this is where we print to the barcode scanner. It's already listed now, so it's going to print your labels. If I listed 10, it would print 10 labels right here. I'm not sure if you even see the screen, but it did print. It pops up the print screen automatically. And if you have a Dymo, they have the Dymo API built into Scanpower, so it will send them right to the printer. You don't even get a box. You won't even get a pop-up box that says, asks you what printer. It just sends it right to it, which is good if you use Dymos. We don't use Dymos. I use Brothers. That's what I've used since I started. So, you know, that's what I continue to use. And I have about 10 spares now, so no need to change. And then we have the same screen as before. Now we have these pre-done settings, which you can change in your settings. I'm not going to go through all that, but you can select up to 6 prices that you may use often, and it's going to automatically change those. So you can just click on that down there. Your cost is from your other cost page, which you can change. And then this is your floor and ceiling price. You know, it's going to send to Amazon, which is, you know, like the minimum max pricing. And then it has all your information, what kind of package it is, small, standard size, oversized, whatever it is. And this is really a new option within the last, I don't even know how long it's been, but it's not, it's very recent, is the trade-in value that Amazon is saying. So, you know, some things might have a higher trade-in value, might be better off just to trade it in and get paid by Amazon immediately. There's MSRP on the product, ASIN, department it's in, rank, and the weight, of course, if Amazon's selling it, Amazon title. And you can click here. In all of these pages, you can click here and it's going to go right to the page on Amazon, which is the seller page, not the main page. You know, which is good if you want to look at the other pricing or, you know, descriptions that other sellers may have put in. So now we have all the pricing, new, used, FBA seller. Now you entered your condition. So if you click on a used good condition, it's not going to change your condition to good. This is only your pricing. It's only showing you the condition so you know what you're competing against. So if we look here, you know, we can select any one of these. It's going to change it up here. Again, you can change your cost at any time. And then when you're ready, you hit OK. But it has all your competition on one page. You don't have to open anything else, go outside of Scanpower. None of that. And then this is showing you where it was going. So you see it right here. And then here it is, the last listing. And then when you're done, you can click on Finish Shipment, and it's going to send that shipment and complete it to Amazon. But once you complete a shipment, you can never undo it. So be very careful and never do that before you're done. You know, and that's all there is to that. I mean, it's, you know, it makes listing so simple. And then once you finish your shipments, whatever shipments you want to do, you know, you just complete them. They gray out. You go over to Scanpower, or you go over to Seller Central, and you print them out, and that's it. You're done. You have your labels printed, put on, boxes sealed. You go to the Amazon page and you enter your weights, and you print your UPS labels. So I'm going to just touch on the repricer. And this is basically going to show you all your stuff. You can search by MSQ, ASIN, you know, titles, whatever you want. You can schedule a certain time to do the repricing, but all you have to do is go in here and change your, this tells you how long it's been on Amazon, the pricing, all this information, and you can, you just double click on it and it brings it up and you can change the price. It's going to show you all your competition again. So you can look at older products. You know, it does have its uses, but again, it's not a automated repricer like you're expecting, but it does give you all the information on one page. You don't have to go back and forth, and it's included in your subscription, any subscription you have. So if you want to look at your, you know, your most aged products, which I guess starts at NA. So you can look at your products by age and see, you know, look at the oldest, look at, you know, whatever it is you want. You can sort by rank, sort by the amount of offers, condition, and of course search to get that down to only the things you want to change, reprice the products, and move on. So it's, you know, it's for when, you know, you want to be looking at each item and not an automated repricer, which is a tool that I believe everybody should have. Everyone should have a automated repricer. You know, there's a lot of them that start out, you know, at a very reasonable price. And then, of course, evaluate. This has always been free. It's free up to 20 product or 50 products. We don't really use it very often, as you can see. This is really our secondary account anyway, but we really never use it unless we can't find the information elsewhere. Another thing that I forgot to say that nothing else really does is, if you can't find a product on the Amazon page, Scanpower will force the product to show. They have a string that, so if you scan a UPC, you can't find it on Amazon with another tool, or look it up somewhere else, you know, you've seen it before. Amazon never deletes things out of their catalog. So what's going to happen is you can look it up in Scanpower, click on the picture, and because it's completely sold out or suppressed for some other reason, it can force it to go there, and then you'll have the ASIN that you can list against. So going back to evaluate, the way this works is you have a template. So if I open this, you're not going to be able to see it, of course. So let me reshare. And it's very simple. You enter a UPC, and you can enter ASINs here as well, the cost, and then user-defined information that you're going to get back. So all you need is a UPC or an ASIN, and the cost, and it's going to give you that information back. Now you can enter your own description or titles that you may get. So, you know, some of the usefulness of this is, you know, this is what we're going to get back. I'm going to show you one that I've done in the past, and stop sharing to do that again. And I'll just hit preview so we don't have to close this one more time. So that's all I did, was I uploaded a UPC. You can also enter basically search words or a title, and it will give you all the matching results back. But those can be a lot depending on how wide open it is. So we enter the UPC. and the price, which is the cost here, and it gave us all this information back. So it gave us the matching ASIN now, what marketplace, the category, the Amazon title, the image that Amazon's displaying, sales rank, and then you have settings that you can set, if you want to accept or deny it, like, a certain rank and a certain ROI and some other information, as well as the Amazon's list price, if it's oversized, weight. I mean, there's a ton of information here. New, used, collectible FBA offers in the total amount, and the same for regular, new, used, collectible. Amazon's price, low FBA, then low new, low used, low collectible, low merchant fulfilled, all the same information for merchant fulfilled. Your net payout, margins, and then here's the user-defined information. So this apparently was a list of things we found online from Walmart. So these are the Walmart links, and how many was in the package. So as you can see, you can enter that little bit of information. And the way we use it is when we're using, our employees are using things like OA X-ray, or they're using other tools for sourcing. All we need them to do is record the ASIN and the cost and where they bought it from and their name, as you've seen. And then we can use something like CyberMonkey Deals or Scanpower to evaluate that and get all of this information back, which is a lot faster. Now, if you're doing something like wholesale, the same is true. If you can get a spreadsheet from them with their price and their a UPC, and then you can evaluate that list. And some of these places have thousands of products. You can evaluate the list, get back this information, and then sort it by rank. Only show the things under whatever rank you want to go for, under 10,000. So you went from a list with 5,000 items to a list with 200 items, and then you can evaluate those one at a time and see which ones you want to sell. So anything where you have a big list of products that you want to narrow down, you're going to see, you're going to see great value in here. Again, it's free up to 50, and this is per scan. So if you send an item, so if you're, evaluating a product that has 50,000 items, I did one that had about 27,000 one time, and it worked here. It took a while, but they were able to do it, and we were able to really make use of it. So this is per scan. So it costs $25 to do this one time, but I mean, it's definitely worth it. How long would it take you to look at 20,000 products? I mean, you just wouldn't do it. You'd have to be guessing at products you were interested in. And that's really about it. There's also, a ton of report functions. You can see breakdowns of your sources, and your expenses. You can edit your inventory management, show all your sales. Every week, once you set it up, it will download them all. Of course, I don't enter, the contact information for my sources, so it's not, that's not filled in. But and we have our own reporting functions. But I mean, when you're starting out, it's definitely good. You can see your expenses and get, a little bit of a highlight on how your business is going. Now, let's see if Kelly's still in here. if Kelly Greeny's still in here, if you go to your dashboard, it's going to show you your current plan, which was the List and Mobile suite. So on this account, we've only shipped 28 items. You know, we have unlimited scans, of course. This is how many we've scanned since we started. And then, you know, so this is what the free one would be, and it's saying it's projecting this account for to be on the Plus plan, which will start, I guess, April 29th. So it'll switch it over to that. So our plan, I guess, will be $10 more than it has been in the past. You know, and it's showing you, I guess, everybody has the free, then over that it goes to this. And then you can just click on Manage Subscription and switch to whatever you want. But yeah, that about I think covers the issues with Scanpower. If you have any questions, send me a PM. I mean, we've been using it for, you know, almost 4 years now. So you know, I think that we know most of what there is to know. No. So we did have a few questions. Common wanted to know, she's new to groceries, and do we ever run into short expiration dates, especially with sales on groceries? So, you know, of course, you know, we talk about this quite a bit, and the, you know, OA with groceries can be hard, or anything that has an expiration date. But what you have to, you know, what you really need to do is think about it as looking at the, you know, the product should be somewhere in the middle of the road, you know, so don't expect a product to be, you know, at the farthest out possible for an expiration date. You know, so if it has a 6 month expiration date, don't expect it to be at 6 months, expect it to be at 3 months. And even if it's a 2-year expiration date, you know, you can expect it to be in the middle. I mean, we bought a ton of stuff online over the last couple of years. So, you know, this is really where it's at. You know, sometimes you'll find products that are, you know, right at the beginning of their life cycle, but usually it's going to be somewhere in the middle. Even with canned goods, it may have 2 or 3 years, you know, it's going to be at a year out from expiration. That's just the way it is. And, you know, you have to, you know, be ready to, you know, to deal with that, you know, deal with returning products to stores, or, you know, we just return things once a week, you know, no matter how much stuff we have. We, you know, we're buying at stores, you know, we're lucky we have a lot of stores in our area. So almost everything that we order from online, we can go to. Some people, you know, don't even have Walmarts in their area. But you can take, you know, when you have receipts, you know, there's really no limit to returning things, especially when they have an expiration date. You know, you bought it a week ago, you know, and, you know, the expiration is just too close. You know, you take it back and, you know, you exchange it, or you get a refund. It's not really a big issue.
Okay.
Just a moment. Okay, sorry.
Bye, Daddy.
Okay, so Santosh, the question was, can you set up permissions, etc., for using Scanpower and giving access to prep companies? Any suggestions about processes for using Scanpower in conjunction with prep companies? You know, I would hope that Scanpower is working on something for that, but you know, I really think it's a better option than giving them access to, you know, list your products. Of course, you can, you know, once you link it to your Amazon account, anybody who has access to Scanpower doesn't have access to your Amazon account. You know, we used to do the same thing when we had eBay. We would, you know, use one of those third-party listing tools. So our employees or anybody we hired couldn't log into our eBay account. And I think the same is true with using Scanpower or the other tools, things like Inventory Lab. You can give them access to Scanpower, the login, and they're not going to have access to your account. Of course, they can't print. They still can't print the UPS labels. But everything short of that can be done right through there. And another thing you can do that I didn't really cover, I'll show you real quick, is when you're listing, you can right-click on here and you can archive it. So if you have, if you're listing products yourself and you're going to grant access to, some kind of third party, a prep company, for example, you can archive your products, and then when they list, it's going to create a new shipment for them, so they can create their shipment, which is just by listing something new. They'll do their shipment and send them off, complete them, and then you can go back into view archive shipments, and you can restore those and continue to work on your own. So you could be listing things at the same time, not the exact same time, but you could be in the middle of a shipment, archive them, they could do their work, and then you could go back to what you were working on. I don't believe you can name. No, I believe it creates those automatically. Yeah, I believe it creates them automatically. I'm not sure if you can. I'm just checking now. Yeah, I don't believe that you can do that yourself. It automatically creates them. Yeah, I really don't see the point why you would want to create separate shipments for books RA and OA. Where they're going to is going to be designated by Amazon. Scanpower doesn't pick. No third-party program is going to pick. Amazon's going to tell you where those products are going. And I don't see the point of having creating multiple shipments. You want the fewest amount of boxes as possible. So if you have RA and OA and books, as you said, if you did that, if you create separate shipments for each one, then you're going to have products going to, your books and your RA, could be in the same shipment, but then if you're splitting them up, you're going to have extra boxes going, and it's just going to cost you more time and money. Pam wanted to know what repricer we're using. We're using the Be Cool. I used App Eagle for several years, but I think Be Cool does about the same thing. I believe they're about $25 to start now, which is really all we still need. And we have about 2,500 different SKUs, so I don't think you need the continuous repricing. I believe it says 6 hours, but it usually is repricing every 2 to 3. You know, that's really all you need. App Eagle, I believe, is $150 for, you know, the same level repricing that Be Cool is doing for $25. We were still grandfathered in. We started at 20. We could have stood at that level. We went up to 50 because I think we were over 2,000 SKUs at the time. But you know, the starting level now is, I think, $100 and $150 for the best way. Yeah, in Be Cool, you can bulk update prices. You can't update the price on everything at the same time, I believe, but you can select everything on a full page. So I believe whatever that is, 50 or 100 at a time, you can, you know, change your minimums and things like that for a full page. Let me see, were there any other questions? User permissions. Barry wanted to know, is this a program to help you know what you need to replenish or order? No, Barry, this is Scanpower. So, you know, Scanpower just became free, as I said several times, for the starter. So even if you're not using it, I suggest everybody uses it. I posted the link a few times. And you know, for the scouting app, you know, the scouting app is awesome. And you know, if you never use the list, you know, if you don't think it's worth the extra money for that, you know, I think it is. You know, the time we've saved is, you know, we can't even count. Definitely worth the $60 a month we pay for each account. But you know, it's definitely worth it. You know, because it's free. So, you know, definitely give it a try. And I hope I covered everyone's questions. Like I said, the chat really goes by pretty quick. So if you have any other questions, feel free to PM me or, you know, ask it in the groups. Thanks a lot.